All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name's Cameron, and today we've got another blind whiskey review here on the channel. In today's video, I'm just gonna reach my hand over into my blind sample box, pull out a random sample, which is B257491. And actually, this looks like a really dark whiskey, so that's exciting. I'm gonna get this poured out in my glass right now, and I will put a reminder along the bottom of the screen of what it is I'm gonna be taking a look at today. Again, this sample B25, that means it's a batched product from 2025, and then it has a random number at the end, which is how my wife kind of organized all of these with these random numbers. And just so I can do the final reveal for myself at the end of this video, after I've nosed it, tasted it, done a full review, and rated the whiskey out of 100, so it's totally blind, totally unbiased, I have to reveal it to myself with one of these reveal cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that reveal card right now, and I'll be right back. So let's make a cut here. And now I've got the card for B257491, so I can find out what it is at the end of the video. And just like the sample in the glass, this is a crazy dark color. So I'm very excited to check this out. Let's go to the nose now and see what we get. Okay, so on the nose, this is a monster of a whiskey. This is just like straight up coffee and cola, very syrupy. It's very oaky. Like if this is not something that's double oaked or has seen maybe like some French oak or something like that, I would be very surprised because, I mean, it is just like the color tells you all you need to know about this one. And it's not because, like, it doesn't seem like it's because of the proof, right? It seems like it's because of either the age or, in this case, probably some sort of double oaking or extra maturation. Because again, the nose, it's just like coffee, all sorts of cola, like French toast, which is kind of reminding me a little bit of that French oak thing, like that maple syrupy French oak kind of profile. And overall, just, it's almost like if you scraped out the inside of a charred oak barrel and like blended it up and liquefied it. That's kind of what the smell is here. It's so dense and so char forward. However, with that comes a little bit of rubberiness. Like there's a little rubbery thing on the nose here that I don't know if I'm crazy about. And so we're gonna keep digging in here on the nose, but I think I just wanna go straight to the palate because I've gotta find out if this thing is gonna be as heavy as it is on the nose on the palate. So here we go, cheers. Wow, okay, so this whiskey on the palate is every bit, I can't even talk, every bit as heavy as it smells, but only for like the first half of the experience. When it hits the palate, it's this explosion of flavor, cola, coffee, so much like rich dark chocolate, tons and tons of oak. Yes, there is some rubberiness in there too, and so for me, that's a note that suggests that maybe this was a little bit over finished, and I think like I can pretty safely say that this is not a subtle whiskey. Like the goal of this product, if there was a goal, because I feel like some of these companies just release batches of things where they've just figured it out on a spreadsheet. But if there was a goal to this product, that goal was not to be subtle. The goal was to just totally blow somebody's palate out with a certain kind of flavor profile. And again, it really does that, but only for the first half of the experience. Because as this thing kind of rolls back and starts developing, it gets, like it blooms a little bit, but very quickly falls off in the finish. And right now, as it's kind of, hanging out, as I've been kind of talking through this entire experience, it's lingering with some bitterness and some dark chocolate and coffee sort of mocha notes. But other than that, there's nothing else really going on. And so it feels like maybe it's a lower proof, maybe it's just kind of a flatter whiskey on the palate. But I think that from nose to front palate, everything is very consistent. And then you get into the finish, that's when this whiskey really starts to lose me. And then the other aspect, like I've already talked about, that kind of loses me is that rubbery quality to the oak profile, which again, it's gotta be a double oak product. If it's not, I don't know how they achieve this with like one barrel. That would be pretty remarkable. So I don't know how I feel. Like some parts of me really like this whiskey. I think it's a pretty cool profile. I think it's kind of gimmicky in like a way that most people are gonna appreciate, I think. But the real nerd part of me that wants a whiskey that drinks a certain way and wants it to follow what it smells like in the front of the palate, I feel like there is some inconsistency here. So I can't wait to find out what this is. I am gonna do one more sip. I think this is gonna be an interesting reveal. And rating wise, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out where I wanna go with it. But dark chocolate, coffee, these are notes that I really like. Cola, heavy oak influence. I do typically like those, but maybe this is a little bit too heavy-handed for me. So let's go back to the palate now. All right, so on to the second sip. I'm starting to pick up a little bit of a fruit note, which I think is nice because I think this whiskey needed a little bit of variety to the experience. And I think that fruit note for me, it's nothing crazy. It's just kind of like this torched orange peel thing that's adding a little bit of a dimension behind all of that real heavy-handed stuff that we've already talked about. But the biggest problem for me on that second sip was that now the front of the palate has really flattened out just like the finish. And so you have all of these insanely dark, rich notes, very bittersweet. The entire profile is just very bittersweet. You have all of that, but then it's like getting weak. And so again, it's just like an inconsistency thing. I don't know, man. This is tough for me. This is tough. I think like I'm definitely not in the 90s on this whiskey, but I'm not in the 70s either. I think I'm somewhere in like the mid 80s. And I think I want to give this whiskey its due for the style points, because I think stuff like this doesn't come around very often. And just because it does have that rubbery note that I'm not the biggest fan of, it's also not at a point where it's disgusting. Like it hasn't crossed over the threshold of being kind of over oaked into being absolutely revolting and undrinkable, and that's good. It's maybe towing that line, but still I think it's pretty cool that they achieved this profile. So my rating today is gonna be an 86. 86 takes into account the style points and everything else, but also, leaves that room above where if this drank a little bit better, if it maintained its intensity sip to sip, a little less rubber, like if you fix those couple things, this could be in the 90 range for me. So I think that's gonna do it, guys. Let's find out what this is. Like if I had to guess, it does feel French oaked. PFG is like the only guess that I have for this, realistically. If it's not PFG, I will be very surprised to see what it is. Yeah, okay. So this is Bomberger's PFG. This is like right around 100 proof, and this tracks. This is kind of the experience I had with it when I first tasted it on a live stream months ago. And this is a whiskey that I do think people are going to like. I mean, listen, they do like it. Secondary's crazy on it. People chase this stuff down. It's a very novel and very cool profile. However, that to me only gets you so far. French oak can give you that rubbery profile, and this does have some of it. But the biggest flaw for me is not that note. It's actually just the drinking experience falling apart in the finish. I don't know why that's the case. I think they may have just proofed it down too much, and maybe that's what is causing it to fall apart. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of PFG. I think today I rated it way higher than I would have rated it unblind, which is, it's a good thing that I did this blind because I was very hard on this product when I tasted it the first time. I still don't think it's my favorite, but I'm curious if a rating of 86 out of 100 would track with your experience, or if you guys would rate this a little higher. Some folks are saying it's whiskey of the year for them, or it's like in that conversation. It's not there for me, but I could see why it could be for other people depending on what you like, what you're willing to forgive. And also, of course, there's always a difference of palates as we talk about these things. So that's gonna do it, guys. Let me know what you think, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. Cheers, and I'll see you soon here on Drums and Drams.